Hello and welcome to episode 353 of the Destiny Community Podcast. I just looked that up.
Hello.
You remembered though.
I did remember to look it up.
He did repeat it to himself a few times beforehand.
353.
Also, I've heard your complaints about the audio issues. I am working on it. Hopefully this one will be better. If it's not, chat, if you could let me know. I'll try and fix it during the show. Or I'll try and fix it again for the next show. But I'm working on it. We're getting there.
Yeah.
We will keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.
This one will be blamed on the Windows update, though, for sure.
Yeah. Windows update on this
it happens
unlicensed copy of Windows.
Day.
I streamed like 100 episodes before anybody noticed the little badge in the right-hand corner of the screen that says, please verify this copy of Windows.
That's funny. They're all listening. They're not watching.
That's right. They were just so enraptured by our voices. Or nobody watches the podcast.
One or the other.
Yeah, one of those two things happened.
So
the raid, how'd it go?
The raid, right. Last week I complained about Bungie not telling us that they switched up contests to just award Necrochasm if you complete it. So I won't complain about that again today. Instead, I will complain about Oversouls.
Yes. Yes.
But no, we'll go to the raid. We'll go to the raid first. Crota, I think
How is that
done
old guy
a really
doing?
good job with Crota.
It's been so long since we've seen him.
They've done a good job. They made Uryu, the Death Singer encounter, like an actual just boss encounter now.
So good, yeah.
Which is really good. They added a mechanic that you do throughout the entire raid with the chalice. So it's really got switched up quite a bit.
I was just
Go ahead, Jay.
I was going to ask what you guys thought about the opening encounter because I have mixed feelings.
Like opening the bridge at all, or
No.
lanterns?
The going under the lamps.
I really like it. I thought it was really engaging. I played it day one with an LFG group, no less, which is a terrible idea for a day one challenge mode. But I just wanted to see what it was like for somebody who didn't have anybody to play with. You just get on LFG. What was that challenge like? And it was really fun. We didn't complete it. We got really close though to finishing that encounter before everybody kind of was like, okay, part ways. But I had a good time figuring out. It all leaned into me just when it was time to actually raid, be like, oh yeah, I got this. I know exactly what to do. And kind of just that teamwork and everything. And I thought that the chalice part, it had great potential to be like the Gowron encounter. You remember how you had to pass that off back and forth? And I hated that. I know people liked that. And I liked this story of that raid and all of that was great, very horrific. But the actual passing it back and forth, for someone with ADHD, I was just like,
Go get the ball.
I cannot keep track. And the chalice is like, it's not three people juggling. So it's just one person has it. And then you got to communicate, okay, who's next? You can have an order, that kind of stuff. And it was easier to manage than Gowron was, while being slightly familiar with the raid. And I think those things all played into each other to where I enjoyed the encounter.
Yeah, I think I generally enjoyed it. I'm still a little uncertain of how I feel about the chalice mechanic, like the whole way through. It's definitely rough on day ones when you've been in there for a long time, especially to like keep an eye on that and communicate it, because you can't just be like, take it from me. You got to kind of let people know a little bit ahead of time. We were doing like 70%. We're like, I'm at about 70%, and that's when the other person would kind of look over and be like, okay, I should get ready to take it.
How long does because it's got the bar that goes up and then the timer. Do we know how long that bar takes? Like I could estimate probably about 20 seconds, but do we know for sure?
I don't think we know for sure.
Okay.
Well, it goes faster when you're killing things, right?
It seemed like it when your team's killing things too, because I've definitely like sat there and done nothing and it's gone up.
Okay, maybe that's what it is.
We don't know for sure. Actually, someone's probably tested it.
Is it the speed of it that's bothering you, Jay?
Well, I was just like to Watts' point, you don't really know. When somebody's like, how much longer you got? You're like, I'm not quite sure, because the bar is kind of ambiguous, right? And you have to wait till the bar fills to the top, and then you have 9 or 10 seconds from that point until you're dead. I was just curious if we knew specifically, like running it regularly, just have that mental fortitude to be like, okay, there's a quarter left. Okay, I got 8 seconds left or something like that, of
Yeah.
knowing exactly when, but I don't know if we do.
And it's funny that that encounter, I feel like it grow like I'm not a like, low man kind of raid guy. I'm not that intense about it. I stick to PvP usually, but it is interesting for me even the way the raid expands as the more you play it, like you start skipping lanterns. You start being like, okay, which are the shortcuts? Where do I have to dunk it? Where do I not have to? How many people do we really need? And who can go get the chest and meet up with us later, So that kind of stuff is fun to learn as you go along with the lantern too.
For sure. I hate those chandeliers or whatever you want to call them, the pineapple.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
Like I
Man,
don't know why they had to add those. We already had a hard enough time in D1 getting through without falling in the pits, Now we have these.
I know there was right at the end before you stand on the
Yep,
plate, and there are those
yes.
two.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
so
the
brutal.
bait lamp. It's a bait. Someone died when we were doing it. We went for the res, and we're like, we're just not gonna move. We're just gonna stand here until they finish the encounter. We're not moving because we're gonna just die. We also had a really funny thing in that encounter where the lamp was about to explode. So someone just yelled, "Get away from the lamp! Get away from the lamp!" And we all ran into a hole.
Oh man.
They're like, "Oh well, we're really good at listening to."
How many times have you, because I've tried helping out a few groups, and I, again, am not a raider. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, but I tried helping out a group who hadn't played Destiny there's some friends of mine and it had been a while since they played Destiny. They're like, oh, we're logging back in for the first time doing the raid. And literally took us all night to get through the lanterns. I was like, guys, okay, just take it slow. Like, we can do this, and they'd bring out Eager Edge and just straight into a hole. And you're like, no,
the Eager Edge is a bait.
You gotta stop.
So we were trying to do the challenge, which is don't let anyone get to 10 stacks of the darkness debuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we were all like, let's put on Strand, let's have Eager Edge.
yeah.
And we were dying so much because of Eager Edge, because it's like locking onto a thrall on the other side of the map. So you just go flying, and then you're like knocking people into the lamps, and then they're going flying.
Yes, that happened to me so much.
Yeah.
I got thrown into so many holes from other people using Eager Edge.
Yeah. So if you're just trying to complete that encounter, you're not doing the challenge. You can take it slow. You have plenty of time. You just need to pass the chalice and light the lamps. You'll be totally fine.
Yeah.
Trying to rush it makes me die a lot.
I think that that is, to your point, Jay, that is my least favorite encounter out of the rest of the raid. I think the rest of it is just really fun. Like, that one can be tedious. The rest of them, I have a good time no matter who I'm playing with. Even me and Watts were trying to day one it for Necrochasm at one point. And it was to the point where, even though it was super challenging and everybody was super tired, you could get enough of a damage phase in, and you could do the rotate, do it well enough that you could see the light at the end of the tunnel. I know that if we execute this perfectly, we could beat this. It's just a matter of, doing the right amount of damage, and we would nail it. And that's a great balance for a raid, to where it is super difficult, but you can see the light of, if I can execute this, we can do it.
For sure. And I was going to ask, I didn't get a chance to run it over the weekend because I was up in Seattle for PAX. But what did you guys feel as a difference in the way that they set up this reprise raid versus King's Fall or Vogue? What did you feel the difference? Did you like it or dislike it more?
I think I liked it more. I think it felt like I wasn't having to. There felt like a good balance of, I'm not just getting one shot by a bunch of things. Although Crota will get you if Crota's focused on you, gonna die.
Gosh.
But it's still challenging because you're obviously managing the chalice the entire time, and you're dealing with killing ads and getting ready for damage. So it felt like a good mix. It didn't feel like I hit a wall, which in King's Fall, of course the totems kind of felt like and War Priest. War Priest felt like a wall both in D1 and D2 for a lot of people during contests. This didn't feel too bad. Although Uryut, I don't know how I feel about that encounter. When you're doing damage to her, because I'm I can't see. It's just things are happening. There's a lot of effects. My screen's shaking. Yeah.
I will say the encounters are set up to where different weapons are more effective, and that has been so interesting. Like Mossy, one of the people from the Destiny Master Breakdown people, who goes into a ton of the damage numbers of what weapons are most effective on what enemy types, discovered that Crota has just an internal, I can't remember if it's 15% or 25%, like receives 15% extra damage from swords. I can't remember if it's 15 or 25, but it's like specifically swords. And because he tested all the different weapons and that was the one. And
that's cool.
Yeah, and so just discovering stuff like that and like being surrounded, everybody's pulling out surrounded swords now for Crota and for even it's like there's so many people around, like you say, you can't see anything because there's so much going on. It's like I now there's a fusion rifle, high impact from Kingsfall that has surrounded, and I'm like, oh, I should craft that with surround. That would be great for that encounter. So yeah, I think that part of the raid is really interesting. Having the various types of encounters is really cool. And then the other thing you mentioned, you asked Jay, what did we feel about it versus the other ones? And the one thing I wanted to say is having Necrochasm as a reward was so incentivizing for me to jump in. I probably wouldn't have touched it at all if that wasn't there. And I'm like, okay, like if I can just beat normal and, not do the challenges, then I will get Necrochasm. I'm interested.
Yeah. I'm feeling a little regretful now, knowing that now that I wasn't available to do it. Because now I have to grind out the Husk of the Pit stuff and all those things.
Oh, yes. We want to talk about, okay.
Let's talk about
it. So in order to get Husk of the Pit, to get Eidolon Ally, to get Necrochasm, you have to pick up a quest after you defeat Crota from the sword. You talk to the sword. It's the same place where you get red borders and stuff like that. You get the quest. The first part requires you to get 100 kills of Hive with Husk of the Pit. Don't do it in the raid.
Yeah.
Raid doesn't like counting anything. I used it for like 4 encounters and I got 4. So, but it's really fast. It's really, really fast to do that. And then you get Eidolon Ally, which is another auto rifle similar to Necrochasm, but not as cool. And then you have to obtain Essence of the Oversoul. And how do you, well, first of all, I have just a real nitpicky thing of they have a whole UI where you can select details on a quest, and there's this massive page of just empty space where they could tell you how to get Essence of the Oversoul. They could say you get it randomly from this, or you do this and you get it, but it's just empty.
It's a secret.
It's a secret. Got to figure it out. Essence of the Oversoul you can get from doing triumphs to do with the raid. So you can get some from doing triumphs, but then the rest are RNG drops from any encounter. So I've had people do a full raid and get 0. I've had people do a full raid and get 1. A lot of zeros. And it just, for me, it feels less exciting. I know that this is a way that people can kind of guarantee that eventually they'll get the raid exotic, but it just feels less exciting being like, I'm going to go into the raid for a chance to get a material to then I can get the weapon. At least if it's just drops from the final raid encounter, I have a chance every week that's exciting that maybe I'll get the exotic. So this is just kind of it feels a little demoralizing. It's like, yeah, I'm going to go run a raid. I might not even get any Essence of the Oversoul. And it just feels a little bad.
It's almost like it would be better to have it be 3 that you need to get it, and it's just super rare dropping from Crota like that, because then it would.
Heart.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing's weird because it's like so similar to an exotic. It's just like you're slowly grinding there. It's just gonna take a really long time, and you never know.
Right. What I heard, and I don't know if it's true or not, but what people were saying was the first clear you have of the week for that character, you're guaranteed like 1 per encounter. I don't know if this is correct. And then
that's
everything
not true.
after
Yeah, I
that.
don't think that's true.
That's definitely not true.
Okay. All right.
That'd be nice if it were. And at least
It
like
would.
you
It
do,
would be really nice.
you'd have a
where it's
number
like,
in mind, like a maximum number.
Sure.
Right. It would be nice if something was guaranteed, right?
Yeah.
If it's your first run on an account or first run on a character, you get one per thing, or you're guaranteed one per raid completion. Because I was like, that's still 20 raids.
Yeah.
Like and that's just for the gun. Then you got to get 15 more for the catalyst. So
that's the part that kills me. I'm like, I
Wow.
want a catalyst, but man, I'm gonna be done with the raid at that point. I'm not gonna want to do it anymore. I'm gonna have my red borders for all the weapons, and I'm gonna be done.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go farm it out. I've heard reports that Crota has a higher drop chance. Don't know if that's true. People are obviously trying to figure it out.
You need like a Fallout or a Dado to make like a statistics video on how often this thing drops.
I wonder if it's more likely to get it versus just grinding it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if this is one of those things that they may adjust the drop rate in the future if people complain enough about it.
Yeah.
Complaining.
There is some other stuff going on in the raid that we don't know about yet, and there's a secret third chest that is on the Triumphs that like all of the the raid secrets Reddit are trying to figure out and just doing everything they can to get and some people think it's probably behind the master mode or whatever comes out later. So that's what I'm guessing it's from, but also it could be from a specific way you have to do an encounter, because there was a previous raid where you had to prevent something from happening and that made a chest spawn. And so people are wondering, like, what is the thing? Does it have something to do with the swords on the bridge? Is it, it could be any of the encounters or we just don't know.
How much do we want to bet that it's bugged? Because Bungie helped put out was it Bungie helped to put out a tweet, or it was in the TWAB or something? I think it was a tweet.
I saw, that one of the devs commented about it or something.
I saw it somewhere.
I saw something about that too.
Yeah, where they were like, they weren't super clear about what was going on with it, but it was just like, we're looking into it or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was like they ended with a smirk face, like it was like they ended with a smirk face or something like that as the reply, and it's like, wait, is that a smirk? Like it's
that
secret, or is that
makes me
like
think it's less a bug than
it?
We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I did not know.
I hope it's not a bug. I hope it's something really complicated that Raid Secrets is going to spend weeks figuring out, and then when you figure it out, it's going to be like, oh my god.
Well, because there's a shader tied to it, or an exotic, something like that.
Yeah, it's a shader.
Oh.
So that's pretty cool. I will say, back to the raid encounters themselves, the bridge encounter, super fun. I love the way they included the revamped version of that from Age of Triumphs when that came back in D1. So that was super fun to be able to do the whole sword thing at the end. And then also like the going and finding the wizards and bringing it back and being able to one phase it if you get your DPS right. All of that is really satisfying.
Yeah, I've been enjoying the raid. It's obviously on contest. It felt like a good challenge. After contest, it is pretty easy, but I know that's not super different to other raids. It's just the Necrochasm quest is leaving a bit of a bad taste in my mouth. Just because I'm like, hey, if we're introducing a quest to get a raid exotic, wouldn't you think that the point is to kind of circumvent RNG? So if it was like, you can get the drop randomly after completing like normal, but if you don't, you do have a guarantee of it down the line at some point. Or I don't know, it just doesn't, it don't feel good. It feels bad.
It sounds a lot like the original quest to get the Necrochasm, which was very frustrating.
You had to get the Crux of Crota and all that, right?
Yeah.
I could not get the Crux to save my life. Yeah. It just wouldn't happen.
Random drops. I ran that 3 times a week, every week, and random drop finally gave it to me.
I would keep getting them, like, because I ran a lot in D1, so I'd keep getting them, and there'd be people in the fire team that never got it once. And here I am with the weapon. I'm like, I don't need it anymore. Stop giving it.
It was so frustrating when like 4 people in your raid team got it, and they're like, "Oh, this is my 7th one." This reminds me of the time I got the Vex Mythic class of day 1, and you waited 8 weeks.
Oh man,
did get that day 1.
I feel like that will forever be a feeling in Destiny, whether you're going after an exotic in a raid or you're trying to get some trials loot and you're playing those extra set after the 7 wins and trying to get the adept loot, and everybody else in your fire team's getting it to drop and you're just getting, oh, trials engram. Oh, here's an enhancement court. You're like,
Totally.
give me the thing.
I will say I do like one of the things that I noticed because I played it for the first time today, the raid, is that the swords that you pick up have unlimited ammo, which in D1 either the sword
Yes.
disappeared or you only, like on the bridge encounter, you only had so much ammo. So yeah, I don't know. It was kind of nice, especially
I
in the
love that.
encounter. You're like, I'm just carrying my sword around, you know, or I guess in Crota, yeah,
Crota,
you can
yeah.
have your sword forever. There's no, I was like, is it not going to just despawn? It doesn't, which is weird, but
Yeah, and the swords are great for taking out the
wizards and stuff.
Yeah, and the tower knights. It
Mhm.
just makes it like, oh yeah, cool. I'll go take those out. Cool.
So how's Crota doing himself? Like how's the old guy doing? It's been a while. Haven't been in touch lately. How's he doing? Still running around that arena, murking people in places he's not supposed to be?
He pulled the reverse card on the entire community, I think, because we all expected to just run him over.
Yeah.
And he turned around and was like, nah, watch this. This is my revenge.
Is he got any new tricks under his sleeve?
You know, the oversoul mechanic, is that different than D1, right? Like, you didn't have to shoot. The main thing that's different that was cool to me is that in D1 you have to use rockets for the damage, and you just depend on one guy to do all the sword damage.
Yeah.
The rockets were just to make him kneel. Whereas now it's the opposite, where you have the sword guys get him to kneel, and then you do all the damage with whatever weapons you want. And so it's cool. It's like a reverse of the mechanic, and it gets everyone involved a little bit more rather than just firing rockets in the back of the map. And I think that's really cool.
They Oryxed it. They flipped it, right? So they
Yeah,
did that with
exactly.
They did, yeah.
That last stand mechanic is it was a little weird at first. I was like, wait, oh, his shield came back up. Oh, wait, no, it's gone. Oh, wait, the oversoul's up. Oh, wait.
True.
We didn't shoot it. We didn't kill him fast enough. Now the oversoul's, yeah. It's weird.
That is a little weird, yeah. First time, at least.
Yeah.
So can you still be like a hero if you're the sword guy? Or you're really more dependent on the rest of the team? No.
There's definitely...
no-
I was just gonna say, there's
no
definitely
white-
hero moments. It's just not with the sword guy. Like, I've seen so many clips, especially from the day one challenge, where the screen's going black and one guy with like one fusion rifle bullet left gets a shot off and knocks him down, and all the loot comes up. There is a problem. That reminds me, we should mention there's a bug with the Triumph for day one that a lot of people aren't getting their emblems and everything that they need for I think they got their emblems, just not the Triumph, where they weren't able to select it and finish it. So at first there was no response. Bungie was like, hey, we know there's an issue with this, but there was no like, what are we doing about it? And they're like, so is it, what's happening?
You're gonna give it to us, right?
Yeah. And then now they came out and said like, hey, we know this is a thing. We're working on getting it resolved. You'll get, your Triumph fix. So that's cool.
I want to say something that I really liked about doing the contest mode. So on the bridge encounter, one person goes across with the sword and has to kill the gatekeepers, but those gatekeepers are chonky on contest. They were not just like swing, they're dead. And they will like almost one-shot you. So what we did is we used Strand Hunter with the new moth arms. Because you can throw grenades, but you can't use your class ability. So we would throw the moth to blind him, and then you could go ahead and sword him to death.
Oh,
so
that's
that was
smart.
like a really good thing to use for especially the first one or two people going across when you don't have any help from anyone else to keep him blind. That's what we did. So while one of our teammates went across, I was like lobbing moths over as well. He had the moth arms. I was lobbing moths across, and it felt really nice to have. We were using Strand with the new aspect to make the Beyblades, because those are really great and just everywhere. And then using a brand new exotic that also came with the season, and it being good. in contest mode, which rarely ever happens. That was nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm totally with you on the blinding nades. So helpful. And even now, as I'm taking new people through, I always want to take that center plate first sword guy to go across. That way, as I'm standing on the plate and then someone comes across, I can just like, oh, I'll chunk a blinding nade. I'll chunk a suppressor nade just to like get the knight to slow down. Like, here, you can, have a little bit of a head start.
Yeah, those knights still hurt. So it's a good idea.
Yeah, great. Honestly, like, great job, Reprise Raid. Like, I think Bungie really surprised a lot of people with this one.
That's great news.
What are your favorite weapons from the raid at this point? I'm seeing a lot of them around right now.
A lot of them are good. A lot of them are super good. I have crafted the Oversoul Edict, which is the pulse rifle. That feels really good. I don't have a crafted shotgun, and my shotgun for PvP is pretty bad. But even with it being pretty bad, it feels great. And I love that it's a strand shotgun, lightweight strand shotgun. And, we have some pretty cool artifact perks this season for using a strand weapon. So, yeah, I've been loving those two. I don't really have any of the others, so I've only tried those.
Is there a sniper dropping?
No, we should bring that up. It's kind of weird.
Master, maybe, perhaps, weather permitting.
It's weird that Black Hammer isn't there. Yeah, maybe Master. I think I don't want to get people's hopes up though. Like I think that was one of the complaints I saw about the weapons. Was that it was primarily primaries. There wasn't any interesting like heavy hitters. There was the shotgun. And there was the LMG, and that other than that, it was all primaries, which I don't mind as much because the hand cannon, the Word of Crota, I didn't think that was the one that I was going to come away like, oh wow, because it's a 180, and that's just not very in right now in any capacity. And the auto rifle was really hot, and that's the one thing I wanted. And out of all 6 completions, all secret chests, like I have not gotten the auto rifle yet to drop once, so I'm really bummed about that. But I have almost crafted the hand cannon, and I am actually really digging it. Like it's the first 180 that I'm like, oh, I might actually add this into my Crucible rotation, and I've been enjoying using it in PvE as well. Got repulsor brace going on it, and it has destabilizing rounds. It's just a great
void hand cannon too, right?
Yeah, so it feels, and it's we should talk about that. The weapons have this origin trait where when you melee something, it makes a cursed thrall explosion it's like 7.5 seconds, and if you have the there's a thing in the seasonal mods that enhances your origin traits. It makes it last for like 12 seconds. So you melee something, and for 12 seconds, anything you kill blows up like a thrall.
Wow.
Amazing.
For 12 seconds, you get to pretend you have necrochasm.
Yes.
So wait, it works by if I melee something, anything I headshot gets that, or anything I melee gets that?
I think it's anything you kill at all.
Like
what? Melee once, and then you just
you have to get a melee kill.
Yeah, you get a melee kill first, and then 12 seconds of just mayhem with your weapon.
Dang.
Oh, 14 seconds. My bad, not 12 seconds. 14 seconds. Even better.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Definitely fun when you can get it to Brock.
Briar?
Let's get Briar in the raid.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
There's also a role on, which I haven't seen anybody do this yet, but I'm very excited to craft it for this reason. You can get Dragonfly and Destabilizing Rounds and have the Thrall perk, and you could proc them all at once for a triple explosion. And not only that, but I heard from someone who has crafted it that the Destabilizing Rounds proc first before Dragonfly. So sometimes like the Void Explosion could destabilize all the enemies around, and then Dragonfly blows them up.
That's the kind of thing they used to destabilize Destiny 1 in general, just crash your game.
That's great.
So, yeah, I am digging some of the weapons a lot more than I thought I would.
Good.
Yeah. Because they weren't
the gear.
amazing in D1. Like, they were solid.
Yeah.
Except for Black Hammer. But,
yeah, Black Hammer was
okay.
So good they made it exotic.
Was all right. Yeah. Black Hammer made up for most of it. And then Hunger of Crota was the other one. Because it was the only other tracking rocket launcher other than...
Oh, yeah.
The Word, don't forget, was a primary, and it was... it was great flavored, so it was great for Nightfalls when Great Flavor was
I'm pretty sure I used that to get my thorn, actually.
Yeah, that was the thorn quest gun.
But outside of that, I don't think I used it all that much.
I used it a lot just because of that.
A little side funny thing about the hand cannon, it was showing different perks on the RNG rolls versus the crafted roll for like the past since the raid drop. So like the past, few days, it had a different roll for if you RNG'd it versus if you crafted it. And so I'm wondering if there's people out there that were able to craft it really fast and went with like, it had like high cal and ricochet rounds, and you can't get that now. And like the patch today fixed it, and now it's back to accurized rounds. So there might be a few people out there that are running around with a very unique hand cannon. So if you got one of those, you might want to keep it.
Don't they usually retroactively remove that stuff when those things get fixed?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Like they did it with the adept mods when you could put on adept mods on guns that weren't supposed to have them. They were like, no, you can't do that, and they shut it down. But some stuff they were like, oh yeah, well you can just have that unique roll. We're not gonna mess with it. So we'll see. Well, I don't know. I don't know anybody that did it, so I can't say. There was something else with the raid. The armor. We didn't talk about the armor at all. They brought back the Age of Triumph armor from D1 that glows, and when you get hit, the lights go away. It like reacts to the environment, and then as you heal, the lights come back.
Oh, so that's cool.
It's freaking awesome.
It is dope. I'm part of me was wishing that they brought the King's Fallen Vogue armor back too. But it's also encouraging because Wrath was my favorite armor, with like the like chest that would like glow and look like it was like an Inception black hole type thing. So I hope when they do bring back Wrath that they'll bring that armor back too.
Yeah. I think I was a little disappointed not to see it in Vogue whenever it returned. Like, oh man, like that would have been really cool. But I agree. Hope we see more of
that. You guys mentioned that third chest might have a shader in it. Is that Glowhoo?
It's not. They show it in the Triumph. They show the picture of the shader, and it's not Glowhoo. And people are wondering, where's Glowhoo?
No Glowhoo.
That's just too bold for Destiny 2. Too outrageous. They gotta put that in the Eververse store.
Oh gosh.
I mean, the Eververse shader's pretty good.
It's so good. I'm so mad. I had to get it because it's so
really
golden.
Good.
The purple just glows and it looks really cool on the raid weapons. But yeah, unfortunate that one's. But so I know we've talked about it on this podcast a lot. With the paying for different things for the game. But if there's one thing that they do, and that I would be decently fine with, it would be cosmetic stuff. And so if it's a shader and not a weapon, as long as it stays like that, like I'm like decently okay with that. Cause yeah, it's like, and as long as the second half of that is providing stuff in game that you can go and get that is, just as flashy, which I think they did this time because the raid stuff knocked it out of the park. Even today, which we'll get to later, they're adding in ritual armor sets that look awesome.
It's in there right now.
Yeah.
You can check out your collections and it's in there. And I've got reports of people getting ritual armor drops. So
it's really cool.
I'm excited to get it.
That ritual armor, especially the Titan, reminds me of like Predator. It looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, I want it.
Yeah.
It does look very cool. I agree with you, Brian. The Titan one looks excellent. Which, by the way, I started playing with Strand Titan a little bit more. Finally unlocked all the aspects, and oh my gosh, the Fletchet Storm, like or melee, I forgot what it's called, but where you do the uppercut thing and just start flying in the air melee and stuff. That thing is so strong. In PvP, it knocks people back, and so on the new map, you can like slide into one of the areas where there's a cliff and knock people off. I did it to somebody who was trying to grab heavy, just like nope. Pop, and they just couldn't get back up. So that subclass is very cool. I'm sure a lot of people are diving into it because of Banner of War being such a good healing thing in the raid. But it's fun in PvP too. I don't sleep on it, y'all. I think it's really strong. Somebody rated it as the worst, one of the worst subclasses in Destiny, and I was like, wait, it's very good.
Yeah, people aren't messing around with it. I see it very rarely.
Speaking of PvP, did you guys run any of the Sparrow PvP?
Yeah. So if you do not know, There is currently it's a bug, but there's a bug in Iron Banner on multiplex specifically, where you can pull out your Sparrow.
Really?
And it's not supposed to be there, but Bungie was like, we're going to keep it in there for a little bit.
People are having fun with it. That's good.
Fun.
Yeah, I mean, the map is like the biggest map they've ever made, ever. So it's good to have a Sparrow.
How cool is that they left that in? Like,
I'm
they could have
happy they did.
easily just been like, oh, we shut that down. But they were like, oh, people are having fun. Like, oh, people are having fun in the Crucible. Let's leave this
keep
in
it, keep
there.
it.
But I think that's great. I think it's some of the silliness that we've been missing in, and for people to not take it so seriously. Let me pull out my Sparrow and try to run somebody over. I don't care if I die. I don't care if we win. It was kind of nice to take some of that out. I haven't done it yet, but it's been nice to see that mentality throughout the Crucible.
Do you guys ever miss the big team battles in the Crucible with the vehicles and everything?
That's what people are saying it reminded them of. Combined arms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Partly. It just reminds me of, did you guys play the D1 demo where we had like the moon map, I think,
Yes.
and then another map where it was the majority of the people playing were in vehicles of some sort because you had like pikes and all these other things, and then you could also have sparrows, and it was just like you try to get out, and you just get hit by a pike or something like that.
It was one of the reasons I fell in love with Destiny was that feeling of watching somebody on I don't know what vehicle it was, a Sparrow, it was a fast vehicle, flying across the moon and like picking them off with a headshot to the dome and just watching that Sparrow go, just they're dead. Just be like, yeah! That felt so good. I loved it.
That was when they nerfed the vehicles from that beta because they were way too good. Way too good. So they nerfed them.
I will say that was what sold me on Destiny, was downloading that beta and pulling out a Sparrow on that map. I was like, oh, this feels awesome. I actually do need this game.
Yeah, it was really fun. That beta was incredibly good. I think it sold a lot of people on that game.
And that was PvP selling people on the game.
Yeah.
So that's all you could do.
All right. It was the alpha was PvP only, and the beta also had PvP and a little bit of.
It was PvP. Yeah, they added the moon for an hour.
Yeah, you could go on patrol, I think, on Earth, and then you could go to the moon for an hour. Yeah, that was cool. I'm old.
I remember it's like a core memory of mine. It's like 9 years ago, but I remember it.
Yeah,
same.
Oh man, I can't believe it was that long ago. I just read that. You remember the day that Elon Musk smoked weed on Joe Rogan? That was 5 years ago. 5 years ago.
I can't believe that's the thing that you pinpoint time with.
I don't pinpoint time with it. I just read that was 5 years ago. 5 years.
Well, speaking of PvP, we could get started with the TWAB and mention that they brought up PvP with their PvP strike team. Joe Blackburn, mentioned in that video that he did that they had a PvP strike team, and we're going to be working on Destiny 2 PvP's experience. And so they gave a little bit of insight into that. And just the main thing was they said the team has a few changes coming up in short term and are also working on long-term plans for what other improvements can make. For example, in today's update, we added a high chance for non-adept Trials weapons to drop from any Trials match wins, which is great. Yeah, anybody can just grab that loot, which is a great incentive for people to play. And they talked some about Checkmate and the Relic mode. And the D2 account themselves on Twitter, Reddit, and BungieNet forums posted like, hey, give us your player feedback, give us your PvP feedback, whatever it is, maps, playlists, anything, matchmaking, team balancing, let us hear it all. And so that has opened up that door of communication, and everybody's a little hesitant to see where this goes, but they've already, you know, brought in the trials, non-adept trials weapons to drop. And then at the end of that article, they also say the PvP strike team is also, not this part, focusing on sandbox stuff. There was something else. The playlist. One thing we're currently working on is complete restructure of current playlists to create clearer identities and purposes for each playlist. We're looking at everything from which modes and maps are in each playlist and matchmaking tuning to lobby balancing and rotation details. So all this stuff is exciting, but also I'm like so hesitant. I'm like, oh my gosh, like what are they? I already see people giving suggestions for the playlist stuff online of like, I think that there should just be one party mode and then one SBMM hardcore thing. And I was like, whoa, like those are like two completely different things. And I know that Joe said that the strike team that they assemble for these things is really good at deep diving the core issues. And so I'm hoping that they, you know, can really see all aspects of the Crucible and provide a fun place to play for every kind of player, which is a hard ask, but I'm hoping they can accomplish that.
Yeah, that seems like a double-edged sword that they're swinging right there. Like, messing with the playlist, like, you could make it really good, but you could really piss off a lot of core players who really like certain playlists.
Like when they took away Rumble.
I think is a great example.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, have we heard anything about this PvP strike team? Because I'm like, I haven't heard this term before. Have they talked about what the goals are going to be for the strike
this
team
was
in Joe's video.
Yeah.
Okay.
We heard most of the goals from there. Yeah.
I also think it's pretty interesting that he's really like, they're really calling out like, hey, we're looking for feedback here. We want your input. Like, help us do this. Like, what do you guys want? Which I think is important from a group from Bungie who just clearly does not seem in touch with what hardcore Crucible players want right now. Right? It's like they realize that they're not providing it, but they haven't really, I don't feel like they've really said like, here's what we're gonna do to change it for the better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're and so we heard, for those who didn't know, Joe kind of put out that video after the State of the Game came out and said, we're putting together a PvP strike force that is full of people at Bungie who really love Crucible and will be in good hands dealing with Crucible, and they're just putting them on that team.
Yeah.
And this is a similar thing they did for Investment back in Forsaken. And it's a team that just talks to Joe. They don't have to go through multiple different people to get changes made. And their whole point is for them to make changes quickly, because that's all they're doing is focusing on this one thing. So this was the first thing after that we've kind of heard about, with them having their little section in the TWAB where they're talking about what they're adding today, which is, like Lego said, the non-adept trials weapons to drop after trials match wins, and then kind of talking about what they're going to be working on. So yeah, it was really interesting. We had like an hour and a half conversation on stream of just like, well, what feedback would you guys give about PvP? And it's a lot of like, they need to deal with matchmaking. It's a lot of that. A lot of, well, I said to put Artifice armor in the Trials Flawless chest so that PvP players actually have a way to get that kind of armor, and it incentivizes it a bit more. I just think the more you flesh out like the Trials Flawless loot, the more loot that you can give to people just playing Trials or getting 7 wins or something, right? The AE, aerial effectiveness, was brought up. A lot of people just saying we either need more ways to buy into it or we need to just scrap it, because it currently seems like it's still kind of a not finished thing that we have in the game. But it's been good. Yeah, there's been a lot of good feedback, but definitely a lot about the matchmaking, because currently you have skill-based matchmaking and fire team-based matchmaking, and there's just a lot of parameters going on outside of just the connection feeling good and finding matches quickly.
Yeah. I want to add to, because I want people to go and leave that feedback on everywhere they said, Twitter, Reddit, and BungieNet forums. And I want to encourage y'all, when you do leave the feedback, make sure that, not make sure, that's the wrong way to phrase it. I think that your voice will be most easily heard and most accepted when you put it in. I know Bungie loves to hear feedback that is like what you feel about it, not what you think. Like it should be like this. This is the way it should be. But if you approach it as like I get on and play the Crucible, and this is what I feel when I go in there. I feel like the game's like lagging all the time. I feel like the matchmaking is against me. Like I don't, I'm just having to sweat all the time. Like those are things that are helpful to them in deciding what changes to make versus like this one thing I don't like, change this, it should be this way. When you can say what you don't like, it's just giving black and white answers to things as feedback is really difficult for them to take in versus your feelings on something. And the community managers have said stuff like that before. I just want to encourage y'all to like let that feedback be heard, what you feel, what you like, what you don't like, instead of just what things should be.
They also left specific links to threads that they're monitoring on the Bungie.net forums, Reddit, and Twitter. So you might want to kind of target those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, give your feedback. It's really important. And so, for example, for me, when I'm talking about like matchmaking, it's I want variety and experience. I want to stomp. I want to be stomped. I want it to be super, super close and really like nail biting at the end. I think when you have too much of either of those experiences, it gets boring and you lose the variety of the PvP experience. And that is what's exciting about PvP compared to like doing strikes or doing raids, is that your experience changes based on who you're fighting. So the more parameters you have that's like really strict map making, it really does kind of kill that variety and it makes it not as fun.
Mm-hmm.
Takes away the fun.
Yeah. Man, I've been trying to think of what I'm even going to say for my feedback. And the main thing that keeps coming to mind, which this is terrible, but I just don't want to run 10 miles to find an opponent on a map, for Rumble or, even a threes match, like on, Disjunction, like, and it's like still there. And every time it comes up, everybody leaves the match and you're like, oh, come on, now there's two people left in a Rumble lobby and we're having to play hide and seek with each other. And I just want to be engaged with the game quickly. And then the other side in it probably is more to do with the matchmaking and the ways in which you interact. And when I am heavily like put against people of my skill, I want to be able to like demonstrate like, hey, I did this thing, I achieved this thing, not just you can show an emblem if you made it to the very top of a comp playlist, and that's the only achievement for people out there who want to grow their skill. I think there needs to be more opportunity for improvement, or at least that's what I would like to see.
Yeah, like I was kind of hoping that when they were talking about titles for Crucible and they were going to add more titles after they got rid of Unbroken, that there was going to be one for just the core kind of PvP experience, which is, sixes for the most part.
Yeah.
I would love to see something like that added. Like you can even have like a not like a ranked system, but you could have a leaderboard-ish thing of someone who's got a bunch of kills or how many wins they've got or whatever it could be. But yeah, I think adding a title would be nice because I was really hoping for that. It was like, so if you just spend a bunch of time at sixes, you don't really gain anything. There's not really any loot. You do get a gun. You do get a new gun added to it, but yeah, what's gonna get people playing Crucible who aren't Crucible players is rewarding them for their time.
Yeah.
In whatever they're doing.
And I'm glad that they're starting with heading that direction with the non-adept trials weapons dropping. Like that's the first thing.
That's really good.
So that's great. Sorry, Jay, I interrupted you.
No, it's okay. So you can't even get exotics like in sixes anymore. Is that? Can they still drop?
Do we?
Do we?
Can't remember the last time.
I mean, I imagine if you do, they're going to be repeat drops anyways. They're not like new exotics.
No.
I still am stuck on in D1 where you'd be doing strikes or PvP or whatever, really, and you could get a new exotic drop and the excitement. Right now, I will say that their new system right now to do the Vex strike stuff is better than having it only as part of a lost sector. I do like that there's something else that you can do, but it just, I don't know, that we've lost a little bit of that RNG excitement like we were talking about earlier. Like now, even the raid exotic is getting taken out of the pool of RNG. It's like, but is it? And so making it, instead of just playing the game and potentially getting something cool, you have to do it in a very specific way, and it still aren't. It's just, I don't know. It's odd to me.
Yeah, I agree. I think we have lost a lot of that, like random excitement. I think we've talked about it for a long time now, where it's in D1, you could say, when did you get Hawkmoon? And someone can say when they got it. Whereas if you ask me now about when
Banner.
I got
Season 2. I was bottom of the leaderboard. I was just getting stomped.
Of course. Naturally.
I literally wanted to forget about that match until bam, Hawkmoon. Woo!
And everybody else in the match is like, why that guy?
Yep. Whereas now, you ask me where I got an exotic, I'm like, don't know. Or it was like a season pass thing that you get right at the beginning for just like owning the season pass, or yeah.
Speaking of getting something for owning the season pass, they're doing for the movie of the week next week, show us tessellation clips for pre-ordering the Final Shape and Annual Pass Edition, which I feel like this challenge was made for me. Like they're asking me to win movie of the week now, because it's like, make us a fusion rifle montage of all the things that I could do to win movie of the week.
It does seem like it's right up your alley.
I have to do something. I haven't figured out what yet, but I'm definitely going to go for this, because that emblem is spicy. It's so good. Also,
your Maui emblems. Just a quick little PSA. They sent out the emails today with your Maui emblem codes. So
did they?
Go and claim that.
You can still buy them though. 4 days left.
Go get them.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out. Also, with the raid, one thing we didn't cover that they cover a lot in the TWAB is the winner of the raid race, Elysium.
Yes.
Again. 4th raid belt. And what's crazy about that, not just like the 4th raid belt, but if you watch the raid race, they were neck and neck with another team. I can't remember what the other team's name was, but it was like, I hate that second place, you don't remember their name. That's the worst.
That's life.
But they were neck and neck, and what was crazy was Elysium started the encounter later. Like, they actually had just wiped, and the other team was a little bit of the way through their next run. They both had like DPS strats down, and Elysium just sped through it so fast that they claimed the title.
Wow.
And
like a minute and a half or something different.
Yeah,
it was a minute and a half.
Just like,
yeah.
and to have it be hours long and come down to a minute and a half is
crazy.
Just wild.
It
And
just
it
shows
was
how
really
good
exciting.
these guys are, right? It's like, damn, when it comes down to a minute and a half.
Very exciting. It's probably the best raid race I feel like as far as the ending goes, that I've watched.
Yeah, not a lot of people completed it on contest. We hadn't seen this low of a completion rate since Garden of Salvation.
Wow, really?
So, yeah.
Guard was tough.
Garden was tough. We got to that final encounter and we're like, nope. we like started it a little bit, messed around a bit, and was like, nope.
Shoo-wee. Sure would like to go to bed.
I need to stop playing with people on the final encounter on challenge day. You just reminded me I did join a group on that day too, at the very last encounter, just like I did this time. And they're like, oh, hey, here's how you do it. Okay. And then we didn't complete it, but I'm getting some experience, I guess.
Well, now I know I have to do every single day one raid contest, because Bungie might just at the last minute there slip in a real big incentive. Yep. That would have been, I'm still salty about it, because it would have been a really good way to get people to want to play it, right? There was so many teams that were like organized for right after contest ended, who were like, well, now I want to try and do contests, but we don't have time off work, which only gives them 1 day to try instead of 2 days, and people scrambling to put teams together. It's, please let us know if you're going to do something that big. Why? I mean, there's no downside, right? It's just like, hey, do we want more people to play the raid during contest?
Seems like that metric would be a good one.
It would be pretty good.
What are the chances of that being like a bug? and they just like, let it go.
Maybe it was a bug. So you might be onto something here because it was a bug after the contest mode ended for like an hour.
Yeah.
Anybody who completed
salty about that
mode,
too. Why did no one wake me up? Someone should have called me.
Yeah.
What was the bug? I didn't hear.
So anybody who completed for like an hour, beat Crota's Inn on just normal mode, got Necrochasm. Just gave it to him.
Really?
Yeah.
Even if you had the checkpoint for Crota.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't need to do the whole raid. You just needed to kill Crota.
Damn it. Why didn't you guys call?
I was sleeping. I had a really rough day. I was like, I'm going back to bed. And then I woke up, saw that, got angry.
I was so mad because I saw it. I was here at my desk. I had my console right here, but my kid just went down for a nap and was right next to me. And I was like, I need to be able to talk. I can't do this unless I can communicate.
I have the sword.
Jump up on LFG. No mic. No mic on LFG.
Why does this guy sound so weird? What's he doing? So
It's like an ASMR raid.
I could have, but I don't know. It seemed risky.
There's a interview with Elysium as well, and they kind of talk about going through the raid and getting the world's first and all that stuff. It's a pretty interesting interview as well up on the TWAB.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, Moople gets my vote for best name in the raid group.
That is pretty great.
We did have No, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that, it's always interesting hearing from their opinion, that whole teams in particular, because this is the thing that they look forward to. Like it is like a race that they prepare for, and lots of people do. And it's cool to hear, what was their favorite parts, like the challenge of it. Even on Twitter, Salty Grappa went on to say, the different things that he enjoyed, like over the other things. And so I don't know. I think it's always interesting to hear those like really hardcore PvE players' opinions on the one time of year that should be very difficult. Was it difficult enough? And to hear them say like, oh yeah, it was like a big step in the right direction. And if this is where we're going for final shape raid, like we're in pretty good shape. No pun intended.
Side story, my son, who has kind of taken over my spot in the family as like the person who raids for 48 hours straight. He did get the 48 hours completion, which is really cool.
Nice.
But it took him,
GG.
I think he was up for 33 hours straight to get it.
Wow.
I can't do that.
Yeah, his young body can handle these kinds of
be
abuses
old
and tortures, but it was pretty impressive. He was pretty proud of himself. It took him 2 raid teams too. It wasn't his original raid team that did it. He had to.
Not a lot of
form up
people got
another
it
one.
done. So yeah,
How long
that's
did he
awesome.
sleep afterwards?
Not that much, honestly. Like,
Who are these kids?
Yeah.
These youngins.
it wasn't like a 48-hour sleep session or anything. He was back up and at it. He was back playing the game pretty quick.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Pure addict.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's how you know.
That's right. I raised him right. What can I say?
Took over for you. Yeah. Get him in the DCP raid.
Right.
We
Give him a microphone.
had a really good week for story stuff for Season of the Witch. But there's a lot. No, I'm not going to go into too many details. There's a lot of like names from that have only been in written lore so far. And I watched Mylan's video like 3 times trying to get it in my head so I could try and explain what's going on. It's not going well.
No, it's not.
So I think we should just wait for Mylan next week.
It's tough
to
with
tell
those
us
made up
what's going
names.
on.
And
Next week's the D&D the thing.
that's all
true.
right. We'll get it out. We'll figure it out later.
Yeah, we'll get there.
3 weeks of lore. It's gonna be Mylan's lore hour, where he just tells you everything that's happened. For the
That's
last 3
true.
weeks.
We should mention that actually. It's
Well, it's
next week is going to be not a regular scheduled podcast. It will be the DCP plays Destiny and Dragons for 2 hours.
Yeah, we could
like
go Destiny and
Dungeons and
Dragons,
Destiny.
Dungeons and Destiny,
Yeah.
whatever you want to say.
Basically,
But
we'll be
it's,
playing Dungeons and Dragons, but Destiny style.
Yes, it's Dungeons and Dragons, but you play as like Destiny races, Destiny classes, and the people who have been super kind to set up all of this for us. Like
Yeah.
we've barely done anything. It's Snurv and Sevs, sorry, not Snurv.
Yes.
Sevs and Mudcat are going to be doing all the stuff for us, and they've written a campaign that we're going to go through, and it should be really, really fun. We're all big D&D noobs,
Yeah.
Yes.
so might
be
be
awesome.
yeah, break a lot of rules. But
It's gonna be pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
It will be. So next week during the regular time, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, we'll be here doing Dungeons and Destiny.
Yeah.
It should be really fun.
I think we'll just post that as, I don't know, we might just post it as a podcast.
Yeah.
Because I think it'll work fine in audio form, right? I guess we can see how it goes. But
Because the Dungeon Master's explaining everything.
Yeah,
so.
I predict us just posting that as a podcast. I'll label it like clearly that this isn't a regular podcast and all that, but I think it should work. It should be a lot of fun. And we'll get back to our regular schedule of programming the week after that.
And why are we doing the Destiny and Dragons next week?
Because fuck cancer.
Right, it was for the GCX charity incentive. Just for those that are curious, why? Like, why did they just?
Yeah, it was one of the charity incentives for the St. Jude streams.
Yep.
So if you don't like it, it's your fault.
Right. If you don't like this, then clearly you like cancer and hate kids. Very sick. Very sick. You really need to reassess.
Should be real fun. We have a dungeon master who very clearly said that they do it with the rule of cool. So if you explain something to him that sounds really cool, he'll let you do it.
That's awesome. Yeah, these guys are good.
That'll be good.
These guys are good.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, these guys know what they're doing. Yeah. I don't think they know what they've really stepped into.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
But we're gonna have to send them like a bottle of champagne afterward or something as a thank you. Anything else in this TWAB we got to go over?
I think so.
I don't think so.
I do want to say with the story stuff, I don't understand it either. I'm not gonna like try to go into what happened, but I will say I love hearing Savathun's recordings left for us, and just the back and forth and hearing her talk about us, like she kind of likes us somehow, and like do I kind of like her? Now I don't know, and it's like, wow, she's awful, and that's kind of Ikora's, I guess, final thing that she sends in her message is like, I can't believe the log reports I'm writing down right now. And like I kind of feel the same way, but also like, wow, like, Savathun was the one who planted stuff a long time ago to prevent the witness from like completely obliterating us. So there's all this back and forth gray area that is very muddied, and it makes it super interesting. And she's just such a good character. The voice actress for her is just killing it. It's so good.
Yeah, this season has some crazy voice acting. You've got Eris Morn and Zevra Wrath and Savathun all kind of, you hear all of them, and you have a lot of Eris and Zevra Wrath kind of going at it. So you have this war between all these hive gods, and Eris now being a hive god of vengeance, and it's very, very cool. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to talk more about it, especially this week. This week was pretty crazy.
Did y'all talk last week about how Morla went in to the studio to do some of, like, she got hooked up for all the CGI, like, she animation stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so cool. And you can kind of tell, like, it feels more her when you're watching the scenes because it is her. She's the one talking and the one moving. And I feel like it makes a difference on screen. I feel like it like brings me into the moment even more. And she's already great as a voice actress anyway, but it like really this season stands out story-wise. I really like the direction that these are going. Yeah.
This week is very, very cool. And this whole season's cool. I mean, essentially the overarching story is that we are Eris's broods. We're Eris's acolytes. We're getting tithings for her to power her up. So it's very cool. It also gives you this whole thing of like, who's the good guy and who's the bad guy? Because we are now living by the sword logic. We're doing what the hive do. So that's a very interesting thing to look at as well.
It's a great perk too, sword logic. It's incredible. You should try it out. It's so cool they put a perk in the game called sword logic that when you kill higher tier enemies, it gives you higher damages, like based off of who you killed. Like it is sword logic. That's just the coolest thing. They integrated the lore into the weapon.
They
perks.
did, yeah.
Is that for all seasonal weapons or just the raid weapons?
It's just the raid weapons. And it's not all of them. It's a specific perk like you have to get. They all have the Curse Thrall perk. When you melee someone, you get the Curse Thrall explosion, but it's a sword logic perk. And it's available on any of the raid weapons.
Nice.
Yeah, I like these weapons a lot.
Can we take some questions?
I think so.
All right.
There was just the artist of the week, which the art of this week was really, really, really good. Really good. Go take a look at it on Twitter.
Look at it right now.
I love the one of
Crota
peeking up.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah, they both are so good. You've got the Gatekeeper and Nightmare of Galrin.
Yeah, they're both really good.
They're bonding over Guardians kicking them off the edge, which is really cool. And then I saw this art that's called "They're Coming to Play with Me" by Kathy Langley on Twitter. I saw this like last week, and they were saying that I always thought of Crota as like, because he's here a lot and he's like the son of Oryx. He's always described in kind of like a kid-like way, that they always imagine him as being like, yay, the Guardians are coming to play with me again. So that's what that art is. It's so cute.
I like it.
Also going to call out the movie of the week too. I actually saw it when one of the team members from the Destiny Screen Capture team retweeted it and was like, whoa, this edit. And I watched it because of that. And it's from somebody who like does not have a lot of followers or anything. And they just nailed this edit. It is all in-game Destiny 2 scenes that they captured to imitate the marathon trailer. And it is like dead on perfect. I can't believe how well they did with it. So very cool movie of the week this week.
That is cool.
Really good.
Nice. Oh, I gotta like
really
watch
cool.
it side by side now. That's cool.
Yeah. It's really good.
All right, Twitter questions. Lone Wolf asks, if Destiny 2 had a fourth class, what would you guys like it to be?
Oh, class, not subclass.
Yeah, I feel like I always answer Elixir, but now I feel like almost any of the races would be fun, and all of them would be fun.
Imagine being a hive where you have to feed your worm, so you have to like keep killing, otherwise you explode.
I feel like you could be a hive knight like almost seamlessly, right? Like now that they have the powers of the light as well, like that'd be amazing. And like you're right, feeding the hive would be like you're feeding your worm would be an amazing like kind of difference in gameplay.
I feel like we answered this one not too long ago. I think my answer was like metamorph or some kind of beast type something.
Okay. How about the frog from Destiny 1's art?
Yeah, the frog. I kept thinking about this question because, each of the classes have this identity, like Titans, the like, protectors of the city. You got the hunters who are the gun people. Like Titans are like the shield. The hunters are like the gun knife people. And then you got warlocks that are all space magic. What's something that like would have that identity of what their tools were? What did they use? And I think it would be kind of cool to have like some sort of sword class. Like I know we have sword weapons, but if their abilities and stuff were based off of a sword, I think that would be kind of cool. I think it would have the capability of falling into the cliches of the Titan punch, how it's just become like, oh, the punchy class, and it's fun to see them play with the abilities. But you could do a lot with swords. There's a lot of like mixing that with some space magic that would be pretty cool.
Jammer Ant says, more of a side quest question, but have you guys played Baldur's Gate 3? And if so, what did you think? Has anybody played it yet? I don't think anybody on this podcast has played it yet. This is in my like queue, but man, it's tough right now. It's tough out there.
Would have been good to prep for the D&D stuff for sure.
It would have helped. Would have taught you a lot about stuff.
I did play the old games, kind of. Like I dabbled in them. I didn't really get into them too much, but Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to playing that. It just, it's a matter of time. TBG says, hey, DCP crew, first time commenter, long time listener. I just wanted to say that after 5 years, I finally got malfeasance. Not because I don't play. I just hate Gambit. Here's my reaction. Oh, they put their reaction in a TikTok video.
Oh, nice. I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we can all agree that we hate Gambit. Congratulations on getting malfeasance, man.
Even despite that, there are some like malfeasance. There's some like really good weapons in there. I've even been thinking about doing a video that just covers like secret weapons of Gambit or something like that, because there's some perk combos in there.
They're all secret because nobody knows about them.
That's what I mean. Nobody plays it, so no, or at least the people who do play it, they're focused on that activity. Whereas these weapons are really good in PvP. It's like there's some stuff in there that nobody's using. That's really cool. So yeah, maybe one day.
Can you still get like bottom dollar and stuff or no?
Yeah, and you can focus stuff now. So even if you play a little bit of Gambit, you could get some engrams and just focus it at the vendor, or wait till you rank up and get multiple perks.
I think that's the only way that I get Gambit stuff is from like clan Gambit bounties. You go to author and you get the engrams. You're like, oh, there's a Gambit thing that I've not seen before.
Zachary Richards says, hey, it's been a minute. How are you all doing? And Briar, let's be honest here and open up to your friends. How many pumpkin spice lattes have you had since August 24th? Many pumpkin spice lattes. I am a pumpkin spiced fan. I like the lattes. I like the coffee. I like the iced coffee. Starbucks has this kind of like cold brew, like pumpkin. I don't even know what they call it, but it's fucking delicious. Probably about 400 calories. But it's good.
Probably, yeah.
I mean,
I'll
I'll
a
eat
daily
anything.
thing.
No,
or is it like a treat?
Well, I will like just regular old pumpkin flavored coffee, and I'll put skim milk in it. I'll drink that for the next 3 months.
All right.
That's my daily.
Have you had like pumpkin spice ice cream or anything yet?
No.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not that big an ice cream fan.
That's the line.
That's the line?
Ice cream or fries.
I don't really like ice cream. It's not that I don't like ice cream. It's just that, like, if I'm going to eat calories, I'd rather eat pumpkin pie than ice cream. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. You'll put pumpkins in ice cream, but you won't eat a pumpkin pie, you monster?
Well, yes, the word.
Don't turn your nose at me, sir!
I think I mainly don't like pumpkin pie because of the texture. I don't know what it is. I'm not a huge fan of pumpkin pie.
I'll eat a pumpkin pie.
I don't like pumpkin, so I don't belong in this conversation.
Well, to be honest, I think most pumpkin spice latte type stuff probably doesn't have any pumpkin in it anyways.
I know, it's the flavor though,
It's just the spice,
yeah.
Gator says, just a quick question. DCP Crota run when? Peace and love. He's got a GIF attached to this tweet that is Walter Matthau and, geez, I can't remember the other guy's name, from Grumpy Old Men, sword fighting with fishing rods. And it's hilarious. And I need to use it more often.
I would love to do a DCP Crota raid.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. That would be fun.
That'd be awesome.
It's a fun one.
Now that I'm streaming during the day, I'm down.
Oh, yeah. Think the lantern's going to be the hardest probably for us.
100%.
Sam says, who has been your favorite villain in Destiny? My personal favorite has been SPMM. All jokes aside, Oryx and the Splicers were really cool from Destiny 1. Favorite villain.
Oryx.
Yeah, Oryx is so good.
Pretty good.
Oryx was pretty
hard
good.
to top that guy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, Crota was really good. Like the first time. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. Oryx kind of takes the cake. It's the massive size and like it's the first time we really. I mean, I know Crota had own Throne World too, but you didn't really recognize what you were doing in that.
Yeah, that's true.
When in your first playthrough there, whereas like with Oryx, it's like, okay, you killed this version of Oryx, and now you got to go into their realm and kill them there.
And it came with like a whole destination. He came with like this whole ship that you had to explore, and it was all themed like after him. Plus the raid. I'll be honest with you, the raid, when you first see Oryx pop up, It is so impressive because he's just so big. Yeah, you're right. Oryx is Crota was cool though.
I will say that Oryx is probably one of the coolest like enemies, but I don't think I've been more emotionally and like personally upset than when Uldren / Savathun
Oh yeah.
killed Cade. So like for me, like I still have not forgiven Crow and Uldren because of that whole
That's right, brother. That's right.
Like
that's right. Fuck that guy.
So like from an actual personal connection, I'd probably say Uldren.
Yeah. What is Cade gonna say when we see him in February? He'd be like, "You've been hanging out with the dude who shot me in the face?"
No, he's gonna be passive aggressive. He's gonna like see Crow and be like, "Hey, you."
I hope he just pulls out the spade, shoots him in the face. It's like no reaction, just blam. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Savathun, there was so much emotionally invested to that story, whereas Oryx was so impressive and it was such a big, kind of huge, like lore dump and everything. But I felt more personally invested with Savathun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think Savathun is growing to that spot for me with everything that's happening this season and the way it isn't just ending after that encounter, which was already good, like you're saying. And I feel like it's developing into something even better.
She's more complex.
Yeah.
She's like not really a boss anymore or like an enemy, but she still is kind of like, she on our side? Is she working with us or is she working?
It's less black and white.
Yeah.
And how is she going to continue into final shape? Is what I keep thinking of. Like is Savathun's story going to end, or is that going to continue and like she helps us take down the witness or something like that and go our separate ways, or does she try to kill us, or like where is it going to go?
Yeah, I don't know. The witness, honestly, is not even on like my top 3 list, which is kind of sad for him being kind of like this like mega villain, but I don't know if there's still room
at this point. Like we've dealt with his minions and his prospecting, his kind of his plan, but we haven't dealt with him directly.
Yeah. Yeah. There's still room.
I do like that they characterized him a little bit more with the origin that they showed last season in the cutscene. That was good. But that was a good start though, and we're like way into this already. So I agree. Like I hope that you got to think that for the final shape they're gonna flesh him out a little bit more. But then again, I thought that's what Lightfall was gonna be. So I don't know.
Taylor asked a question that I've been thinking about a lot too. Would you rather eat a full bowl of ice cream that tastes like poop, or eat a spoonful of poop that tastes like ice cream? For the sake of what if, let's assume the health risks from consuming feces are not a factor.
I think that's a pretty easy question, right? You don't want to eat something that tastes like poop.
That's true, but I also don't want to eat poop.
I'd take the poop. If it's just a spoonful and you just taste it, boom, you're done, and there's no like health consequences.
It can't be worse than those fucking jelly beans.
Chocolate ice cream.
That's what I'm saying. That's what has me thinking the poop is that, I tried the jelly beans. I know what stuff that's fine for you that tastes terrible tastes like, and I don't want to do that again.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
I'll never hear the end of this.
I think I'm going after the poop. I mean, the jelly beans have ruined my brain, and I would rather eat poop than more of those jelly beans. And I think the ice cream is going to be like those jelly beans. That's a whole bowl. Set when the editor says, has anyone tried Eidolon Ally in PvP? If so, how are you liking it?
Yes, I have. Because I was going to make a video of like, hey, are you a sad loser like me who can't get over soul things and couldn't complete contests?
That went in a completely direction you had me in the first half. I was like, whoa.
It's like she's talking to my soul.
Yeah, it is good. It just, if you fight a necrochasm with it, like it's pretty similar to necrochasm. It's just a less cool one, and it will make you sad. It will make you sad that you don't have necrochasm. That's the only downside.
Well, you only got to wait 35 weeks to get your own necrochasm.
It's pretty good. It has the Curse Thrall perk on it, so you get to have a mini necrochasm if you get a melee kill. But it's just a good feeling auto rifle.
Yeah.
Feels
Comes
good.
with good perks too, isn't it? Like perpetual motion rangefinder or something like that.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
good.
Yeah, it comes with good perks. Feels
Drops some
good.
masterwork.
Yep, drops masterwork. It's got ricochet rounds on it, arrowhead break. It's got some good stuff.
Very nice.
Solid auto.
Oh, Sean's got a fun one here. Sean says, "Do you think the grind for Essence of Oversoul is too much, or that a random drop in raid spurs more play? People are complaining, and they should drink a warm cup of shut the hell up."
I am complaining. I am complaining because I normally run the raids for quite a while after a new raid drops. And every time I complete it, I'm like, oh, this could be the one. And I'm getting excited. And everyone's like, who's going to get it? And it's a whole lot of excitement and anticipation behind potentially getting that drop. But now we're just like, didn't get an essence. Or you're like, hope I get one.
Yeah, you got to get drop. I'm looking forward to drop 14 out of 72.
Imagine you're on. Imagine how long you could potentially be on 19 out of 20.
Ah!
Oh,
What? Okay. What if they did both? What if?
Yes, 100%.
You know,
Yes.
it could randomly drop, and you could be like,
Yes.
oh yeah, I got it, I'm done. Or you know, or it just drops and
Subsidizing.
encounters as you go as you're helping people. You
Yeah.
know, I feel like
Yes.
that would be pretty good.
Well,
that would be great. That
Yeah.
would be a great way of keeping some of the excitement of getting it before everyone and also giving you a guarantee of, hey, you're a little bit protected.
Perfect.
We need that. Yeah.
Do it. Put it in. Come on,
Yes,
Bungie.
Sean.
And so what that does, I think what they were trying to do with this is they should have done both, I feel like, because here I go, like saying what should be instead of saying what I feel.
It would be nice.
I feel like you should.
I
feel
like, yeah.
decentivized. That's what I feel. I feel a
So-
lack of incentive to run the raid because it
And-
looks like a
So far
long
away.
grind. I can see the long grind. It's like if
Yeah.
they actually put a quest that showed I was going to get it on my 40th completion. No, it makes me sad.
No.
It feel bad.
Woohoo! I
Well,
got number
with
21.
It's like gambling. You want to, yeah.
They tried. There was already a protection for like you do the raid, and every time you do it, the percentage goes up to get the exotic. Like that is a thing that has existed, right?
They've done
they've
for
done
certain
and-
raids, but a lot of the times they do it like 3 or 6 months after the raid
Yeah.
comes out, or
Yeah.
like they don't tell us that they've done it for certain raid. Like
So-
the last time they did that was for Last Wish? Like when was the last time? It's been a while.
They did it for
Maybe
Deepstone
Vex?
Crypt. I'm
They
pretty
do
sure.
it for Vex, Deepstone.
They did for Deepstone. I'm almost positive.
Yes. It took a while though.
It took a while. So
6
my
months.
point is that this was a way I think they were trying to visualize that, like, hey, look, every time you do it, you're getting closer. But
Right.
it's having the opposite effect on everyone. We're like,
It
oh my
is.
god, like I don't even care now.
because they took the RNG out of it too. Like you can't
yeah.
get it as a drop. At least
and
I
they
don't
needed
think you
both.
can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it feels like.
And then you're kind of staring down this quest of like, okay, I'm at 9 out of 20, and then you're like, I have to get 15 after this for the catalyst. And then that makes you also go, oh God.
Yeah.
You're staring down the barrel of a long grind, and that doesn't.
When will Zur
so
have
good.
this weapon is the question. How long?
When can I buy it from the exotic camps?
Tomorrow would be nice.
He doesn't carry raid exotics.
He does not.
Oh, we just got to wait for a bug.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Thomas says Bungie announced they're going to start making PvP for the 20+ hour PvP players. Do you think they should balance more of the game in this manner towards the serious players, i.e., raids closer to contest experience, strikes closer to GMs, or does this only work for PvP?
I think so. With them saying that, it's not necessarily that they're saying the hardcore PvPers necessarily. It's people who play a lot of Crucible, which is different to people who are like the top % super sweaty people. So we're kind of talking about two different things there, where you're saying like for the PvE portions, it's making it towards like the hardcore, more sweaty in players, whereas this is just people who enjoy playing a lot of Crucible. And I know plenty of people who would never say that they're like the top % of players that really enjoy or did enjoy playing Crucible.
Yeah. I know lots of players that are in the negative, like KD, and they still are trying to improve. Like they want to like keep playing, and they spend a lot of time doing that.
Here's a question. This is just like a psychological question. I agree
The
with the
dog is
idea
dead
that
in the box. It's dead.
so somebody playing 20 hours of PvP, obviously they like PvP more than me. However, um, if somebody's playing that much PvP, they like it to a certain extent already. And if as a designer, you're like, okay, I'm focusing on this user base because this is our core, but at the same time, it's not bringing the people that aren't playing in. It potentially is keeping them out because they're focusing on the people that are already playing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I
So
think
I'm
that's
It
like,
been their
does, and
philosophy for the
it
last
has
5
been for the
years.
it's been their philosophy for sure for the last 2 because
Yeah.
they stated that that was their philosophy, and we
sure.
kind of talked about this on stream a bit earlier, where we a lot of PvP players were like, can we please have the data that just shows that this is getting more people playing Crucible who didn't play Crucible for longer? Can we get that? Can we get that data? And they were like, we're not showing it. We're not showing it. And then someone from my community was like, I think this might actually kind of answer that question for us, because if it was working where there were significantly more people and it was moving the needle in a significant way to
They
get
would
people
show
to
it.
play, would they have gone back on it and be like, okay, we need to focus on the PvP players, and we need to, because I know a lot of people who no longer play Destiny at all because Destiny PvP isn't fun.
Right.
And they were, the whole excitement of Destiny was, going into the raid and getting a weapon and taking it into Crucible.
Sure.
So when you break that, it's like, well, I don't really have a reason to play anymore.
Yeah.
So, and then I've heard from a bunch of other people as well. It's like, I'm not going to jump into Crucible because you changed matchmaking. I'm going to jump into Crucible because you put a weapon or armor in there that I want.
Right.
So I think the
Same.
only way you're really going to incentivize PvE players in a significant way to jump into Crucible is if there's something for them to earn that they want.
Like Trials. Like when Trials is most
Like what they're
popular
kinda
is
doing with
when there's a
Trials.
bunch of cool shit in there
Absolutely.
to get.
I mean, and it's not necessarily like people use the terms casual versus whatever. Like casual to me means like somebody that's probably not even an average KD, right? Like I don't think it necessarily equates to the people that aren't playing, because you could have people that don't want to play that are very skilled, but they're just not enjoying, whatever it is, whether it's matchmaking or the rewards and all that kind of stuff too. So it's complex, but I agree with you that it probably is good to try something new if they haven't been doing it this way.
Also, if you make a better play experience, it's going to appeal to everybody, right? It's going to
Right.
appeal
Yeah.
to new
Yeah.
players. It's going to appeal to hardcore players. Doesn't matter. Like if the game is more fun, like yeah, if it's more fun but a little harder, you may get some bounce off because of that. But you'll get more people who like find joy in uncovering the depths of that fun. Right now, I just don't feel like it's appealing to anybody.
That's kind of the problem they've ran into, and they keep running into, where it's a game that has a lot of things that different players like, and they try and appease everyone, and then they end up not actually appeasing anyone.
Yep.
So yeah, I think making changes in PvE that PvE players want, I think makes a lot of sense, and I think doing the same for Crucible makes sense. Not saying turn strikes into GMs, because that's kind of like a bit different.
Yeah,
I would say.
it feels like that would have to be like a little more focused, based off of like those two different things. It'd be like saying let's treat comp the same way we treat quick play, and they're like, you can't really do that. Like there's like different parts of the games, whereas strikes and GMs would kind of be the same thing. You kind of treat them a little differently, but yeah, the same concepts, the same things that make them fun, like Ryer was saying, can appeal to everyone, and those sort of things, yes, like apply it to both sides.
It would be interesting. I wonder if they probably have looked at this data. Like think about Crucible players that played a lot at one point. Like the majority of them playing was Crucible, and then all of a sudden they stopped, or it was like even a gradual. It's like trying to figure out what that thing was for those people would be interesting too. I don't know if it's relevant to this, but
Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
love to see
yeah.
all of it. It's all really interesting.
yeah.
And that's
Game
why we're
design,
having
psychology.
a huge conversation about like what to add to going flawless in trials, because if you add like artifice armor and there's ornaments in there and there's adept weapons and there's materials, then you can really take a lot of stuff into just maybe you get 7 wins. And if you turn that in, you can now get an adept weapon, even though you haven't been flawless, because there's so much in the flawless chest of the sparrows and ships and materials and armor and all that stuff that it really does give you so much more wiggle room to just give stuff to people playing Trials. And I think that the name of the game just has to be respecting players' time.
Yeah.
And someone in my chat was like, it takes me about 8 to 11 hours every weekend to get 7 wins on my card. That's a lot of
That's
time
a huge
investment.
time investment.
And you're getting not a whole lot from it. So I even saw on Twitter, someone said, what if when someone resets their Trials rank that they can get an adept weapon? I'm like, that's a ton of time investment. I don't think you're asking a crazy amount there. So for me, it's just always how much are people investing time-wise into this thing, and can we reward them? What matches that?
100%.
Make the rewards match.
Yeah, agreed.
Harzob says, why does FromSoft keep insulting their players? First in Elden Ring, we're maidenless. Now in Armored Core, we're a merc with a fried brain. We give them money, and in return, we have to deal with this rudeness. And Baltius.
We like it.
I think we should really look into our relationship with From Software.
We like it. We like to be treated bad.
Yeah. What is it about? I'm this way too. I generally trust people that are like that treat not necessarily treat me bad all the time, but like, they give you shit, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Those are called friends.
Like, oh my God, you're so great. Oh my God, everything you do.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know what it is.
True.
Animu Pepper says, what do you think of the newly announced certified Shrek Crocs? Will you buy a pair?
Ooh, yes. Did you see these, Brian?
Oh yeah. They sent a picture.
Yeah?
I mean, they got
Can you
like a big
describe
old
it to us in
Shrek.
detail?
Okay, so they're green, right?
Green. Yep.
And they're like Shrek green, and they got I think it's like a gibbets that you like plug into the top is like Shrek's face, and then Shrek's like antenna ears thing
little
are
ears,
also
yep.
gibbets that go on the kind of the sides, and then the back strap is like a brown wool fiber like Shrek's clothes.
Wow.
They're slick. They look good. I'm not gonna lie.
I might have to
rock
look into
those.
these because
Rocks. Oh my God.
Rocks. Perfect.
Thanks, Fire.
so my son just watched, like, he doesn't watch too many movies, and he just watched Shrek the other week for the first time.
Oh,
He's
perfect.
just been upset, and we keep asking him what he wants to be for Halloween, and he's like, I want to be an ogre. How do you dress a 3-year-old to be an ogre?
Well, here's a good start.
It's a lot of green paint.
Shrek
Good
Get some
Crocs.
Crocs.
And yeah.
Bugo16 says, best way to cook hot dogs: grilled, boiled water, microwave, other. I mean, you're never gonna go wrong on the grill.
I don't know what it is about
yeah.
boiled water ones that are just like, it's not
Yeah.
not appetizing to me.
Not appetizing. That's how my mother used to cook them, so I'm just kind of used to having it that way.
I'm learning a lot about your mom.
She was not a good cook. Lovely woman. I love her dearly. Cooking, not her specialty.
It started with the chicken.
Yeah.
It's probably not ending with the hot dogs.
No, probably not. But you can't go wrong with a grilled hot dog.
Yeah.
I'd rather
Grilled
have a
hot dogs.
microwaved one over a boiled water one, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you wait till they like pop, or do you try to take them off before?
Literally don't care if they pop.
I don't
It
either.
tastes the
Me
same.
neither. No, it's almost better.
Yeah.
Also, I really want a hot dog now. Like, that sounds so good.
Yeah,
Sausage,
I'm pretty
fucking sausage.
hungry.
I'll take any of it too, like chili cheese dog, Chicago style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
You know,
don't
the
have
Korean
a
hot
regional.
dogs on a stick
Oh,
with
yeah.
the like
Oh, yeah.
potatoes.
Jay,
and
that
stuff.
video.
It was a Korean cheese dog at PAX. And
Yes.
it was a giant mozzarella stick. We're talking like there's a
Yeah.
somebody from our community. We were eating them together, and I'm eating it, and all of a sudden I realized somebody's recording me. That's a video that's on Twitter, and it's deep fried mozzarella stick, right? And it's like huge. It's like the quarter of like
Massive.
a brick from Costco. And they put sugar on the outside, like not a ton,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
a little bit of sugar.
They're like
granulated
powdered
sugar.
or like
No, granulated.
granulated.
And
Okay.
So then they fry it, they put the sugar on it, and then they put a little bit of ketchup and mustard. Like it's not overpowering, but I don't know what it is. If you like mozzarella sticks, and the sugar, you wouldn't expect it to be good,
It's so good.
but it's so good. And I wanted to have another one.
Good.
I went back on Saturday with my buddy, and the line was too long. And he's like, "Nope, don't want to do it." I was like, "But you don't understand."
We can't be friends.
Yeah, they're really good. We have ones where it's got like an actual hot dog in the middle, or it's got the mozzarella stick kind of thing. There's also where you can get like rice cake in the middle as well, and you can cover it in like a bunch of potatoes, or it's really good. Or you can have the fried one. But yeah, I get one that has like the rice cake in the middle with the like spicy potatoes.
Healthy version.
Maybe it's a little healthier, maybe. Maybe.
I
But
mean,
yeah, you can just, this is a big block of cheese covered in like fried potatoes.
it's one of those foods that like the entire country does it differently. Like no matter where you go in the country, everybody does their hot dogs differently, but they all do it great. Unlike pizza, where the Midwest just completely fucks it up.
Can you fuck up pizza though? Really? Like
I've never had Midwest pizza.
Fly out to Chicago, watch what they do to it. They give you
Chicago?
like this soup.
You talking about like the sauce on top?
You just offended
like
a
the
lot of
beef.
people.
Jeez.
Yeah, there's I even like we do frozen pizzas like once a week. I am even a bad pizza is good pizza. I don't know. I'm not that picky.
Yeah, man, we got some good deep dish
Briar and I are
pieces
not
around
in
here.
agreement in this.
I'm craving everything right now.
Right?
That sounds great.
It's getting to be eating time, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Grim Invictus says, do you think humanity could have held off any of the enemy races if they attacked in the Golden Age? With all their advanced technology as well as a fully operational Rasputin, I think we could at least go up against the Fallen or Red Legion.
I think this is an interesting question.
Yeah, I wish Mylan was here. I really still don't really get the timeline of like when the Golden Age fell apart as compared to when the bad people started showing up. Like I know the Golden Age started when the Traveler came, but how long was it between that and like when like the Fallen came and I just don't know that timeline very well.
I mean, it's like anything. I think in retrospect, you probably could, but when something's happening in real time, you just try to take care of what's in front of you, and I think that's probably what happened.
Yeah. Like did the Golden Age start to end before they showed up? Like were we already in like kind of this like disarray? Or
that's a good question.
Did they show up and that was what ended it?
Mylan?
Get him on the phone.
I feel like Nezarec had something to do with it, right?
Somebody in chat knows, right?
Someone's got to know it all. Yeah.
Fazimoto says, today's TWAB mentions simplifying the PvP playlist again. I think it's quite easy and would like to know what you all think of this. All right, so they got a suggestion. 6v6 all mode social rotator, CBMM. 6v6 ranked playlist that gets replaced by Iron Banner, RBMM. 3v3 comp playlist that gets replaced by Trials, SBMM.
What is RBMM?
Ranked based matchmaking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
I would do a hard pass. Simply because if you do a 6-player rotator that is connection based and that is all that is the only place for connection based, but it's also the party mode, it's also everything quick play. And they've talked about this before, and I'm really glad that they split it up the way they have currently, and it's why I'm a little afraid going into the next stage of whatever this looks like. But I'm glad that it's PvP focused people doing these changes. But the reason why I don't like this version of it is because you could get something like Relic in that playlist, or whatever the one is with the rocket things that you hold, where you don't even use weapons. Then there's nowhere for me to go to try out a weapon that I got from the raid, because I would just have to either I could only use rockets in that connection based mode. If I go to the other one, I'm doing rank based, and what if I'm like way up in rank, and then the other one SBMM, and I will just be sweating the whole time. So there's like nowhere to go if it was just those three. So that's the reason why I feel like like some of that is fine, but whatever we have next, there has to be like a party mode, like that's connection based, and there has to be a like like something that uses your guns and abilities. It can have other stuff in it, like other fun things and switch ups, but it at least has to have you use your gun and use your abilities, and your super isn't up all the time. Like it can't have any of the crazy like this isn't normal Crucible.
Where would Rumble fit in this playlist?
Yeah, Rumble's not even mentioned
on here. That's the other thing.
I think you kind of need to keep Rumble at this point.
Even if the playlist is low.
Yeah, I think that, so I don't think what we have now is terrible. I just think that it's labeled poorly.
Yes.
Because like the Relentless playlist, the connection-based playlist is called Relentless. It doesn't even say like what it is or what's different about it. So I think if they just labeled things a bit better, and maybe they have it to where you got like rotating modes or a selection of modes in a playlist, something. But I don't think we need like a huge overhaul unless their numbers are saying that there's like no one playing. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think it's too bad right now. And I really don't with comp, because they also talked about this in the TWAB where they're like, we want your thoughts on like modes and rule sets and stuff for comp. And I'm like, I can't even get behind thinking about comp until we change the matchmaking of comp. Because right now it's you get placed in gold and then you play Ascendant players forever, which feels really, really, really bad to be gold playing Ascendant. It's either you think I'm Ascendant, so you put me as an Ascendant player, or you don't put me against Ascendant players while I'm gold. So I really don't understand why they're using skill-based matchmaking for that, because we have placement matches. Like you can use skill-based matchmaking for your placement matches, and then they place you where they think you should be, and then they match you based on rank. It's just so crazy to be in like a middle tier rank playing the top tier. Just that, I mean, people complain about that in Overwatch and Apex. No one likes it. And if it happened in League of Legends, I'd lose my mind. It doesn't happen.
Isn't it really more satisfying as a player to like build your way up?
Yeah.
In something like ranked. Because like you start like somebody like me, who I'd probably start like fairly low or average, and then like you're building up and like you're starting to play people that are just a little bit better than you points wise and stuff. And sure, you might get whopped a few rounds if somebody's like coming in and really good, but it evens out after a while, right?
Does,
so like on the average, maybe a month or two into the new system, people would be more accurately playing people on their skill level. I don't know. And then you start to learn things and try to push a little bit higher into the next rank tier. That's how it seems like it should work to me.
That's like the
way it used to work in Halo.
That's how I really think it should work. Because I play League of Legends ranked, and it's really simple. It's you do your placement matches. They put you in a rank. If you're like, say, gold 1, you might be playing people in the next tier. But this is why we have tiers, right?
Yeah.
That's why we
play
have
a little bit above, a little bit below. And if you win a bunch,
above.
then you move up. If you lose a bunch, then you move down. But generally, you're playing people that are about your skill level. But if you start to improve, then you can legitimately see your improvement in your rank going up. Like
and you start seeing
it's a one-to-one relationship.
Now I'm playing plat players. Oh, I'm moving up. This is great.
I'm moving on up.
Yeah, but
or
when
I've got a broken character.
When you have it to where you place, in like gold, for example, and then you just play the top tier the entire climb, that does not feel good.
No, definitely
not. I want to add too, I missed this when you first read it, but someone said trials can't be SBMM in the chat, and that's so true.
Yes.
So if you put trials in SBMM, it defeats the purpose of trials, because then the game is telling you, let me evenly match you. The goal of trials is to win 7 matches in a row. And if the game is giving you a 50-50 every time, it becomes extremely difficult for everyone.
Yeah, they did that, and everybody hated it.
It is real bad.
Yeah, so they never did that. They did win-based matchmaking, so which win you were on, which is a little different, but still it has its own challenges. Right now, it's completely random, and I know that comes with its own problems, but I think a lot of those problems right now are stemming from everybody duo queuing instead of solo or trio, like queuing, and so but SPM is the one thing that just would, like, you'd have to make a new game mode. It wouldn't be Trials.
Yeah, no, it'd be really bad.
Which honestly would be nice to see because Trials is getting pretty old in the tooth. I'm sorry, I lost my place. Oh, Twab the Titan says Destiny has been my go-to game since 2014. I started with a group of friends, but I play solo now. Do you think the in-game LFG will help people like myself who have lost their group along the way, or will it not be a big change? Man, I hope it is a big change, and I hope
it should be.
It solves exactly the problem you're talking about. Because I'm kind of in your boat too. It's like the people I used to play with, my friend group in game, kind of stopped playing.
Jay,
come on, man.
And that was like one of my primary motivations was to, like, see those guys and hang out with them. And I don't know, people's lives change, like your schedules change, so it's like hard to maintain a relationship like that over time. So I do hope that LFG works really well. I hope it's really popular, and I hope that people do find like long-term friendships in there, because that's going to be really good for Destiny's health.
This system, so I started playing more regularly. Like I had a buddy, and it was just basically him and I in the beginning, and then he stopped playing. And there became a time where I had to make that decision. Like, man, I want to keep playing. I want to like learn how to do raids, all this stuff, but I don't like doing it without my buddy. And I had to make a conscious choice. And so I found the website, the100.io, which still exists. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because this new system is like a hybrid of that with some like normal LFG stuff. So it asks you like, your age range, like what time of day you play, what type of player you are, whether you're casual or hardcore. Like it asks those questions, then it would spit you into a group and you'd try to feel it out and see if you mesh with them. And it like immediately worked with me, like same time of day, same type of people, that kind of stuff. And so when they're asking these kind of questions in the new LFG, I there's senses of familiarity there for me, and I hope that it works for other people, because that's the group that I started streaming with. Like somebody was like, somebody should start streaming our shenanigans because we had a good time. So like if it wasn't for that and like the 100.io, I wouldn't be a streamer. I would.
That was the one that when you joined up, you just kind of got like randomly placed with 100 other Destiny players, like into like a kind of a group
based on your criteria that you inputted.
Right.
Yes.
I forgot about that. It's been a long time since they introduced that, awesome. But it was a good system. How does it still work now that, because they must have like a huge amount of like dead accounts on there. So like, how does it work?
For years, I don't think it's been as active as it was back in D1. Yeah. I think some people still use it, but I don't know. Somebody check it out and report back.
Yeah.
Because that was awesome.
Yeah. It was a really good service.
I do want to say that, I imagine it will still require some effort on the player to like make those connections.
Yeah.
But it can be really easy once you've gotten in there with a random group of people and are doing something. Like you find the people that you click with and you're like, oh, hey, do you want to like add each other and let's do this thing later? Because I have that happen even in Rumble where I don't, before I started all this YouTube stuff, and I would have it happen in Rumble just with players I was playing against. They're like, oh, that was a good challenge. We had a good match going back and forth and like DMing each other and then add each other on friends lists. And then we're like doing raids together and playing other stuff. And I think LFG can be a good kind of just lighting the fire, the spark of that. Those messages starting and those like, except it's, you're actually using your voice. So it's even more, a little more in person and able to communicate how well you interact together. So yeah, I hope that people find their place. And it sounds like Bungie, like you're saying with the .io thing, like they're actually, basing similar people together. Like even like, what was it? People who were colorblind or something like that.
That's one of the tags.
Like, oh, you like deal with the same things with this game. Like, let's put these people together so they can, share in the same experience and kind of have that community.
Zombie with a Life says, what if they want everyone to finish the Final Shape raid because they plan to reward you with the next subclass? Then they wouldn't have to balance it for World's First or disable the new stuff. Sounds fun, but unlikely.
I feel like this runs into the problem that we had with Lightfall, though, where they slowly give you this new thing or hold it from you. And like you're playing the campaign, like you want to use the new stuff. Like as soon as you buy the game, give me the new stuff.
Yeah.
Like I want to play with the new fun stuff, not the stuff that I've been playing for the last 9 years.
And they got to sell this too. So it's a lot easier to sell this with a new subclass than it is to keep that secret. And like, yeah.
I would be interested to see what the last few years, what the user raid numbers. There's somebody probably has it out there, but like historically, raids, it's like 10-ish, maybe 15% of the entire population even plays a raid once.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think what they're trying to do is make it easier for people to approach the raid, but I don't think they'll ever design anything to be required to run the raid. It would be a mistake.
Yeah. Yep.
Valcor says, if we get to see Cade inside the Traveler, does that mean Eris could see her former fire team?
I have no idea.
Yes.
There we go.
I think it's a cool idea.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Although we kind of already got a version of that in the first what season? The Haunted season of the Haunted, where we slowly like got versions of her or like ghosts of her fire team.
Oh,
to
that's right.
Around
in the
her.
shadows.
Yeah. So it was kind of similar to that, but it would be cool to have more appearances of past figures.
Casper
Legends.
Casper J says, do you guys think that someone from our alliance will die before or during the final shape? If so, who do you think has the highest chance of not surviving and could possibly become a light bearer like Savathun did?
I think Eris is on the hook at this point.
That would be sad. I actually think Ikora could be on the list.
Because it's unexpected?
Yeah, I just feel like they haven't done anything with her in so long. It's like,
what are we going to do with Ikora? Kill her? I don't know.
Yeah.
God dang it.
Cade
is going to die again.
Well, Ikora and Cade were so close too. Like if it is a version of what we were talking about where, Cade can't return out of that inside the Traveler and like Ikora like stays with him or like something like that, like, or they fight together in the end. Like that, something like that would be meaningful and closure for both of those characters. But like also they've built, I was thinking about this with Zavala and Ikora specifically. Like they've built these characters up and there's still so much they could do with them. They've developed their stories and it almost is to where like they're preparing them for more. And so I don't see them really finishing them off. But I don't know. I think if I were to pick one, it would be, is it Ido that is the daughter of,
Mithrax?
Mithrax, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like she's just so into like the Guardian stuff and is like the lore master of their culture, and she was so interested in everything, and they were kind of leading it for her to like, is she gonna die in that season? But if she came back as a Guardian, got the light, that would be cool. Pretty cool for the first Elixni Guardian.
I did really like her character too.
Yeah, me too.
I have to like something really dark. I'm going to preface this.
Okay.
What are the chances that they take Zavala out after switching voice actors and that whole thing?
It makes sense, like logistically.
Really,
like if you're really cold-hearted about it.
Oh yeah, really. Like, and the only voice lines he gets are
like dying
noises. It'd be awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I just don't want to. I like it. That's cold.
I'm
that guy. Think so, because I feel like if that was the case, it would have been less of a welcome the new voice of Zavala, and like
we're
everyone
gonna shoot
welcoming
this
to the
dude real
community.
soon.
Misdirection.
He is currently ending this character.
Yeah, it might have just been like a a little bit less of a large announcement, or maybe they
Yeah.
would have gotten someone who's
Not
not,
so
like
famous,
Keith
yeah.
David.
Yeah,
Who's like-
Keith David is.
Wouldn't it be
just-
too
They
obvious
really picked
though
the
if they got
perfect person.
somebody else? Yeah. I don't know.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
and they would have to fire every other Zavala, which
Yeah, it's true.
they'd be getting rid of a lot of people.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, because I always forget that they do it in more languages. Than...
Well, I'm not saying that they would do it because of what happened in real life. I'm saying like if they had planned it in the story all along, kind of.
Oh, right. I mean, it would kind of work with the story too. I don't know. Like he's definitely having a crisis of faith, right?
Yeah, that is true. That part.
All right, I'm really looking forward to this question. We also get an answer to a question that we all have been holding on to for a week from Blandy McBlanderson. Should I read last week's answer
Yes.
first?
Yes.
Okay, but he puts it at the end of the email. But he says, by the way, last week's fake bird name was the Scandinavian ground scrope.
Really?
Yeah. So it wasn't the butt fucker. The butt fucker is real.
All right.
Okay, so this week's question. Of the following 5 names, 4 are real towns in the U.S. or Canada, and 1 is fake. Which one is fake? I'm going to read them out.
One's fake. Got it.
1, intercourse. 2, warm douche. I'm sorry. He also gives us the state, so I gotta read the state.
Okay.
Intercourse,
All right, let's hear.
intercourse, PA. Warm douche, LA. Booger hole, WV. PPOH. St. Louis, do ha ha, Quebec. By the way, last week's fake bird name was the Scandinavian ground scrope.
Man.
St. Louis do ha ha.
That
In
one
Quebec.
sounds good. I mean, Quebec is French, and that does sound French. Booger hole, West Virginia. WV is West Virginia, right?
Yes.
Okay. And PP is Ohio. Warm douche, LA is Louisiana?
Correct.
Okay. And PA is Pennsylvania.
You got to think of like the languages that are in these states too.
Intercourse, Pennsylvania, I'm almost positive exists. Like, I feel like I've seen it.
There's a boring Oregon. I'm surprised you didn't put that in there.
I mean, it
feel
doesn't
like
belong
PP
here. It's good. Boring does
PP
not.
is too easy.
Yeah.
It's gotta
PP,
be warm
Ohio.
douche. I'm gonna go warm douche.
Warm
PP.
douche, Louisiana.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty descriptive of Louisiana, don't you think?
Warm. Is douche a French word?
Sounds it. I don't know.
Probably douche.
Could be.
Those all sound too
Shit.
legit.
Sounds.
They honestly sound too legit.
This is what happened to us last week.
Oh man.
Warm.
The
Booger hole.
Quebec one. I'm gonna go with that one.
You think St. Louis do ha ha ha? That
It's fake,
sounds
yeah.
exactly French.
I'm gonna go with that.
St. Louis do ha ha. Silly English. No, that's not that one. I think it's got to be Booger Hole, West Virginia. Who's gonna
sounds
name a
most
place
legit.
Booger Hole?
Yeah, that sounds super legit. I don't know what you're
Really?
talking about.
Oh man.
It just reminds me that there's a football player, at least there was, named Ha Ha Clinton Dix.
What an asshole dad.
That's his like.
All right,
what?
how about PP Ohio? You think that one's real?
How's it spelled? Is it just the
Fake.
letters?
No, it's
PP or PP?
Yeah, PEEPP. I'm sorry, PEEPEE. Ohio.
I think that's real.
Fake. I'm calling fake.
Really?
You call them fake on PP?
They're all fake. They're
Yeah.
all fake. It's a trick question.
No.
That's what
if
happened
anything,
last
they're all
time.
real.
That's what we thought.
Warm douche.
I think warm douche is real, 100%, because it's in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Sounds like it could be douche could be French, and they do be speaking French.
And it is a
Louisiana
lot of
over
hot, swampy area down there.
True. So not an inaccurate description.
My body's feeling like a warm douche down here in Louisiana.
All right.
Respectfully.
What was the first one?
Intercourse, PA.
Intercourse PA. I'm gonna go with that one.
Oh, that one's real.
Is it?
I think.
Do you know
so.
for sure?
No, of course I don't.
No, it probably is real.
Warm douche.
I'm
Booger
sticking with the
hole.
Quebec one.
Pete, St. Louis. Do ha ha.
I'm good with that one.
I'm going PP
I'm gonna go with
Ohio.
that.
PP Ohio.
Yeah, I'm with Briar.
All right.
Okay.
Probably St. Louis.
I can't wait till next week when we get to find the
St.
answer.
Louis.
I know. I'm not gonna be here. I'm not gonna know.
St. Louis. Do ha
Oh
ha.
wait, no, I will.
We have to let you know. See, Cletus said Intercourse PA is the only one I've heard of.
Oh,
Lucky
Spoiler
you.
alert.
Just bragging about it.
Fine.
Three Brothers, One Controller podcast says, is the area we get the cards Eris Mini Throne World? Is the area we get the
No.
cards Eris Mini Throne World?
No. It is a part of Savathun's Throne World.
yes. I remember
okay.
that.
Got him. I watched my
Got 'em.
video.
It's the Marvel cliff where the girl gets knocked off the edge. That's what I saw.
What
Those look
girl?
very similar.
What girl?
Gamora.
Gamora.
I thought that was.
Mm.
I thought that was Black Widow.
Well, both.
Both.
Valcor says something that just hit me while listening to the podcast in reference to the witness taking things apart and putting them back together. Weird is the witness trying to revive or put things back together like the traveler does with us through the ghosts when we die.
True.
This sentence needs
There
so
could
much
be.
punctuation. I cannot make heads or tails out of
Is
this.
the witness trying to revive or put things back together like the traveler does with us through the ghosts when we die?
Yeah.
I think they just like looking at stuff and seeing how it's made. They're just like that kid who likes taking toasters apart to see what's inside the toaster
like
and how it works.
Like Billy from the Toy Story where he's got all the dolls
Yes,
with like all
Billy
mixed
from
and
Toy
matched.
Story.
His whole
That's the
ship
witness.
is that way, right? He has all the worms that are cut up into pieces and the
Yeah, and the horse.
enemies that are in slabs and all that stuff. Yeah, the horse with 6 asses. Yeah.
Yep,
Mm.
yep.
That
Putting
is
them
a
together all
sexy
weird.
horse.
By the way, how do you put
Like
pants
that.
on a horse with 6 asses?
Look, I don't ask why. Christopher Jones says, this sounds like a horse you'd find in warm douche, LA. Christopher Jones says, this show has always been a bright spot of my week, especially this week.
Oh,
I just got fired this week from my job of 8 years, and I feel really bad about it. Not so much a question as a thank you from me. That being said, how did you cook Ooh, Christopher!
oh good one.
Got
Good
him.
one. I hope the rest was completely fake and you were just
Me
trying to
too.
get Briar into a false sense of empathy. And then you hit him.
Got me.
That was
bad.
good. It was good.
You got me
The
bad.
other stuff is true. I'm really sorry.
Yeah,
but that
me
was
too.
really great.
If it's not
Yeah.
you, you're a bastard. I'm coming for you. if it is
if
true.
it truly was a bad week, I hope this was a bright spot in it.
Yeah.
You got him good.
That was
Pain
good.
Shin Phoenix says, what exact armor would you want to have in real life and what would you use it for? Also, if you had a super, what side would you pair with your cooked
Are you eating
briar?
Briar? Yeah, cooking Briar.
Joe Commendator says, I'm liking the
Done.
new season, but I've almost reset my Crucible rank and still haven't gotten the new map. Has anyone else not played it yet? Also, sweet potato
I've-
fries with honey mustard or French fries with ketchup.
I wish I was you.
You
I
haven't. You
dislike
just
the
dislike
new map.
the new map.
Oh, really?
I dislike it a lot. I run for 20 minutes to then
is kinda
find the
big.
entire team because they were also running for 20 minutes.
Running around in a
And-
circle.
Yeah, I do not love it. It's just another big map.
It felt okay in sixes to me, but I really did. I didn't enjoy it in Rumble. I feel like we need to start doing the thing in
That Call of Duty
some
did?
other. Is it Call of Duty where they section off parts of
They
the
would
map?
section it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we should do that for the different play modes because it's just like sometimes something gets built like Disjunction for Rift, and it's like clearly this is too big for most modes. Like let's bring it down some.
It's a good
Yeah, I
idea.
would love if they started doing that just in general. That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Also, second part of the question was sweet potato fries with honey mustard or French fries with ketchup.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both, yeah.
I guess
Oh,
French. Neither, but I will take French fries
Whoa.
with ketchup if I
Neither.
have to choose.
Neither.
I'm sorry. What is
I don't-
your
I'm just not a
what
big
is your
fan of
stance on French
sauces.
fries?
It's sauces. I just don't
Oh,
really
interesting.
like.
So you
if
like
I-
the
if I
you
get-
and Briar
fries?
should get together
like
because then you could
Briar.
complete each other's problems.
No,
Yes.
then we-
So there
Like,
is
you'll like
the
the
one thing I
dry.
will
Got it.
do is ranch and like buffalo sauce. Like if I can dip fries in that, I'm good. No, what?
Briar hates
Really?
fries. Lego
And
doesn't want
ranch.
the ketchup.
I also hate ranch.
Also hates ranch.
Yeah, I
Me
don't
and
like
Briar
ranch.
were
Really? I
like,
didn't know that.
we were like this up until this point, and you're going down a path I can't follow.
I was fine with ranch. My wife ruined me on ranch. She started dipping everything in fucking ranch dressing, and it's like
Oh.
it's just happening like the last few years. Like all of a sudden, she just got this like ranch dressing kick, like everything,
Oh.
pizza.
She has discovered
She's
ranch
putting it
and
on
she likes it.
pasta. She's
I'm
putting it
all
on
about it.
everything,
Oh.
and I'm just like, ugh.
Pasta.
Every time I'm just like, I just get more and more repulsed by the sight of
Briar,
ranch
did
dressing.
you pick your wife because she reminded you of your mother?
I don't want to go there. It's a line of questioning I don't want to follow.
I think the only version of ranch that I like is just like if you sprinkle some powder as like a seasoning on something,
Okay.
Hmm.
not the mayonnaise nastiness.
I did that in a taco soup recipe last week, and it was really good. Using
Oh.
that powder stuff in
Taco
it was
soup?
awesome.
Sounds
taco
fun.
soup with ranch.
No, but like it used the ranch
the
powder stuff to
seasoning.
like season it.
Yeah,
It
not
was-
the
Fantastic.
Interesting.
last question of the night. Hugo Rune 79 says, "You wake up in the morning with the ability to talk with inanimate objects. Which object do you think you would have the best conversation with, and which would be the worst?"
I'm going straight to a government location and I'm going to ask them, "What's up? What's going
Yeah.
on? Tell me the juice."
Yeah,
Tell me
that's
the gossip."
right. I'm gonna go to the
Yeah.
grassy knoll. Be like, "What's up, bro?"
Or where else would be? Go to your friend's house and just be like, "Yeah, I'll be right back," and just start talking to all their
Their
furniture.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, who do
What
you
does your
want the
friend
dirt
actually
on?
think about me?
Right? Well, I don't know if you want to know that because you might not be friends after that.
Yeah, maybe not, but it'll be for the best.
I guess. I want to know the dirt on like all the secrets, the government
Yeah.
secrets.
Yeah.
Talk to your
You gotta-
computer.
Oh, yeah. Why are you always
I can
so
already talk to my
temperamental?
computer. I'm just
What
saying,
horrors
hey,
have you seen?
computer.
You got to find a really suspicious isolated bench because
Uh-huh.
they do all the dealings on the bench, and you ask them, "What have you seen?" Where they hand over the money and the briefcase and do the little talking to each other, but not actually talking, just sitting next to each other.
I'm close to the same page as that. I feel like I would do like a big tree, like an oak tree in a park. It'd be like talking to an int, and so
That'd be good. That'd be good.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Especially, and they're so old. They've seen so many
Yeah.
things.
seen so much.
exactly. And it would kind of be like good friend. Like it could live as long as you do, and so you're just like,
Yeah,
That's
but
true.
really, anything over like I'd say 500 years, probably not gonna get a lot, right? Well,
dirt?
although-
I was gonna
sounds like
say
a lot of dirt.
actually, though, there's a lot of evidence that Native Americans had a much bigger civilization than we've been giving them credit for. That'd be nice to know. Like, if we got a real old tree, like a
Yeah,
good
we gotta find
1,000-year-old
all the
tree,
old trees.
yeah.
Yep.
Aren't there some trees that are like 40,000 years old?
I don't know, 40,000, but very
I don't
old.
know.
All right, real quick.
What's the world's hardest tree? Hold on.
Somebody Google that real
while
quick.
you're doing that, I was gonna say,
World's
what if
oldest
you
tree.
sweet talk-
4,854 years old.
I was close.
4,000.
I was right on
Yeah.
there. I was right in there. That's the oldest, really?
You had a
4,000?
4. That was good.
What if you
Yeah.
sweet talked? What if you sweet talked like a lottery ticket machine?
Oh, now you're talking,
Mm.
making that machine work for you.
You're looking great today, there,
Yeah, just print me out.
Bessie. Can
Although the machine can't print you out a ticket, it doesn't know. It's a random ball
it
drawing.
could. I'm sure it could.
I mean, it could print you all the tickets. Just give me one of each.
That's how Mr. Beast got them all. Okay.
Are you saying Mr. Beast is fucking a lotto machine?
I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
You implied it.
I was just saying he's talking to him.
All right.
Jeez.
Okay. And the answer is? Oh, you already said 4,000.
Yeah. 4,800.
4,800.
Almost 5,000.
Almost 5.
Almost
yeah.
Almost 5.
Almost 5.
Yeah. Almost 5.
Well, once again, come to the end of the show. We've answered all of your Destiny-related questions. All the questions of the universe, really. I mean, I feel like we've now expanded past just Destiny, right? Just like you can ask us anything and we'll give you an answer.
I just love how at the end of the show, Briar gets his like fireside chat voice where, you know, it sounds like, yeah, he's got a cup of whiskey in his hand.
Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you
next week.
Next week. Yeah, that's right. We'll see you next week
Next
for the
week is a special day.
Dungeons of Destiny of Dungeons stream.
Dungeons and Destiny Dragons.
Yes. Dragons and
Dungeons
Destiny
and Ahamkara.
Ahamkara. Yes. That's right. That's going to be really fun, though. We're going to have a lot of good times. And then we'll have regular programming the week after.
Yep.
Thank you and goodbye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.